So what do you need to be doing to communicate effectively in your organization and with your leaders about exactly what you're doing as industrial marketers? In this video, we're going to give you these core tenets or these one-word tools you can use to communicate very efficiently and effectively to speak to the core essence of what you're doing as industrial marketers. This should help you get more buy-in, more understanding, and more aha moments about, oh, I get what you're doing and why. Well, we're going to get into it coming up. Okay, so let's get into these tenets of industrial marketing, ways that we can communicate to the core essence of what's happening at different phases of the industrial marketing process, things that everybody must do. So really starting at the top, tenet number one is you've got to be well positioned. And that starts with understanding what's the business we need to be in. You know, how are we going to be able to deliver customer value? Who are we? Where are we going? How are we going to get there? Who we serve? That tenet of being a well-positioned brand, what makes us unique? If you don't have strong positioning, it's really hard to be competitive as a marketer and seller today. The next tenet really gets into that targeting. Who are we marketing to? Where are our priorities? What are those market segments? And what are those niche components that we have there? Again, a lot of folks are going to talk to you about like high-level brand and creative strategy. Folks are going to talk to you about all types of targeting and data. Great. But at the end of the day, the core essence of where that lives in being targeted. And targeting requires making decisions about how you're going to try to grow your business. That starts to feed folks downstream at the business unit, definitely at the product and brand level in your company. The next tenet really gets into a massive problem we see in the industry, which is about being proactive. So proactivity, what do we bucketize in there? The fact that the majority of businesses that we encounter in the industrial sector don't write a formal marketing plan. They don't have an action plan. They don't have a budget. They don't have goals set in those documents. They have not figured out how they're going to measure success. There isn't literally a plan and timeline and key activities in place. Proactivity is key. And assuming you're well positioned, you're highly targeted, you're proactive and you have a plan and you're doing these things instead of fire drill ideas, that puts you in a position to try to get discoverable, be found. Next is being communicative. And what I mean by communicative is you really can't be discoverable if you're not communicative, and it's like chicken and the egg. But what you can do once you are well positioned, you know who you're targeting, you know your points of differentiation, you know how to position yourself, you're highly targeted, and now all of a sudden you have a great marketing action plan and you have a commitment to do what it takes to be discoverable. Now you can be communicative. And if you're communicative and you create engaging, useful, and actionable content, it's contextually delivered at the right time for what an engineer, industrial buyer, an influencer, or executive, a plant manager needs, then they may fill out a form, want to download something, you get a lead. They may request a quote because they found you and they found that proposition, but the content has to be great, especially now. And by the way, every tenant has that underlying layer of persistence. You've got to keep doing this stuff. Next, if you've gone through all of that, our next tenet is you've got to be responsive. A Harvard Business Review study looked at lead response, and over 20% of leads are never even responded to. Most folks I looked at a study, I think, in engineers, they were finding they want like a same day response. It was taking 72 hours for industrials to respond to an engineer's inquiry. And in today's internet age, they have alternatives that they can give a call to. Responsiveness is key. Responsiveness on social, responsiveness on the phone, responsiveness by a sales rep. If you're doing all of these things, you've got to be responsive. You're literally leaving money on the table. Finally, you've got to be transparent. If you're going to be doing all of these things, you have to know what success looks like and how you're going to measure it. The strategic mandate should come down from the corporate level. The business unit level should be trying to codify that. And literally at the product or brand level, you really need to have very detailed goals of how many leads, how much awareness, how much audience, whatever that measure is, because we have so many cool tools we can use. As marketers, we can measure so much. We can kill what's not working, we can keep doing what is working, and heck, if you're doing things that are rocking, do more of it. Question of the day. What are some of the things that you can do as an industrial marketer to make it easier to communicate about all these things you're doing in the industrial buyer journey? Can you be targeted, communicative? Can you be discoverable? Do you have the plan? Are you measuring what you're doing? They come in at all different phases. We'd love to get your input. Some of the best ideas or what you're doing could come from the industrial strength marketing community. So leave your comments in the section below. If you haven't done so already, consider subscribing. We'd love to have you. So thanks for checking out this channel. So hey, industrial strength marketing, we're here to help you be a better marketer and seller of your industrial products and services. Industrial strength marketing is in our name, but it's what you've got to do.